Mid-July 2022. I want to introduce you to the ASSIST project. It's something that the Centre for Ecology and Hydrology and Rothamsted, with support from various people in the farming industry, have put this experiment. It's now in its final and fifth year. And the bit that I'm particularly interested in is whether or not we can use these flowery margins, often fitting into stewardship, to provide an increased opportunity for beneficial insects that go out and do battle with the crop pests. What we're looking at here is a tussocky edge by the hedge. This is small mammals, web-building spiders, bumblebees will nest in there. Then we come into the field margin round the edge of the field, and something we'll go and have a look at in a minute is these midfield strips. As we see increased pressure on pesticides, particularly the insecticides, is it possible, with grant aiding and the appropriate science, to put together mixtures that encourage a range of insects that will go out and do battle with the crop pests? It certainly sounds perhaps a little far-fetched, but I think the situation such is that now we need to examine this opportunity. It fits very much into the increased environmental demands on farming, and it's certainly something that the early days of the ASSIST project homed in on. The siting of these field edge strips is quite important. We can see here now we've got a bit of blackthorn suckering, so it's perhaps not a good idea to put some of these against blackthorn hedges, because you will get some suckering problem. But the concept of linking the tussocky to the hedge base creates, if you like, an ecosystem that is well worth having. We move into the flowery bit and everybody's happy with these on the edge of fields and understand the concept. But the bit that I think is certainly new and novel is the idea of having these in-field strips. They're set up about 4 to 6 meters wide, and they're set up to fit within the spraying width of the farm. So you're looking at somewhere between 96 and round about 100 meters. So they minimize the imposition on the farm. Some farmers prefer to have the strips disconnected from field edge because they feel that's easier to manage. I think it's certainly very much optional. But the concept now, certainly from the research that CEH have done, is we can begin to pull out the plants that provide a source and an opportunity of pollen and nectar for many of the beneficial insects. The sort of plants that we're looking at are many of the umbellifers, cow parsley, wild carrot. We're also looking at the open flowers, things like yarrow. Knapweed, surprisingly enough, fits very well into this. But research now will go on looking at, can we put together within a scheme so that we can get some payments for the farmers, can we put together mixtures that will improve or help the pest-predator relationship? The problem we have is that the crop pests build up very rapidly, whereas the beneficials build up more slowly. So can we, by putting these mixtures together in the right place, can we get the beneficials living where we need them from sort of day one? Information shows us that the beneficial insects travel about sort of 50 meters in either direction. So if we swing across here now, we're crossing 96 meters in this case to a new strip over there. So we hope that by doing that, we've actually brought the beneficial insects into the field. The challenge now, and it's going to take a few years, and it's certainly something that Agri and CEH are going to work on, is to pick a range of grasses and a range of flowers that work together as a community. Hopefully we can get many years out of them. But the idea is that we build up this in-crop beneficial insect reservoir such that the whole field is covered. With the old field margin system, many of the insects wouldn't travel into the middle of the field. We're in the middle of a heat wave. You can see by the wheat now that it's literally a week or so away from harvest. Interestingly, the margin strips or the infield strips are still hanging on. Now this provides us with, I think, the opportunity for a variety of benefits. Let's think of a range of benefits that these margins can give us. Certainly the wheat is ready for harvest, yet down in the field margins, down in the flowery bit, everything is still green and doing nicely. So obviously they're deeper rooted and chasing the moisture, so there's a benefit there in carbon capture, soil structure, and a range of things like that. Putting the mixtures together, I can see here that we've got wild carrot. We'll home in on the wild carrot. A very flat, open flower. This is ideal for many of the flies. The insects with very short tongues need this sort of flower with a pad rather than a deep flowering tube. There's a thing called the Phytophagus insect data set. This is a national collection of what insects live on what flowers, and this has been very useful. We can see the knapweed there. A bit further over we can see some yarrow. So I think we're ready now to put some mixtures together that science says we stand a good chance of pulling in the right insects. And it will be very interesting as we move through the next few years, looking at how we can improve the balance between farming with wildlife. Many farmers ask the question, how do we manage the infield strips where they join the edge of the field? And if we swing the camera around now, we can see what the farmer's done is driven through. The first tram line drives through the infield strip, switches the appropriate boom or piece of farm machinery on or off accordingly. So what we've actually got is still one field. We've not now split it up with these infield strips into a variety of fields, which from a farming point of view would be a bit of a pain. Some farmers are very interested and very supportive of the whole concept. Others remain as yet sort of to be convinced. But I think if we really are going to push on and get this balance between farming and wildlife, infield strips are something we need to investigate still further. And I very much hope that this is something that we will see more of in the future.